5, 4, 3, 2. Hey guys, welcome back to
Twoofakindpodcastt
podcast with your host
Leslie
and Jordan. I didn't know we were going to say each other's name. Welcome to episode 2. I hope you guys enjoyed episode 1. We didn't really get to explain much about our podcast. We should do that in this episode. We need to start with why Twoofakindpodcastt.
born on August.
No, that's not why. Okay, well, we both have the same birthday. For the new listeners, the new viewers, the new people. Jordan was born on my 18th birthday, and I'm his mom. No, we are two of a kind because we are literally the same person. I don't know if like us being born on the same day has anything to do with that, but I kid you not, me and Jordan are like the same. So we are two of a kind, and that is why our YouTube channel name changed to that, and then that's why we're gonna just keep our podcast to a kind. Luna, can you give me my coffee, please? Thank you, baby. So Dutch Bros, at this point, why am I not sponsored? I swear I have you in like every single video I do. Now that we have introduced why we are two of a kind, we want to do a story. This is a story time, guys. This is a story time episode. When Jordan was born, he had meningitis, and you know what? I'm going to give you guys the definition of what meningitis is so you guys can know exactly what it is and the severity of it. Because a lot of people hear,
Wasn't that weeks old? Not even a month?
you were days old. Hold on, I cannot spell meningitis. Meningitis. Okay, so meningitis is inflammation of the brain and spinal cord membranes typically caused by an infection. Meningitis is usually caused by a viral infection but can also be bacterial or fungal. Vaccines can prevent some forms of meningitis. Symptoms include headache, fever, and stiff neck. Depending on the causes, meningitis may get better on its own, or it can be life-threatening, requiring urgent antibiotic treatment. When Jordan was born, the very next day I was able to take him home. Obviously, he doesn't remember this. He was literally a baby. And what are you doing? After that, the first day, we had a whole bunch of visitors. Like he was like a new member of the family, so we had a bunch of visitors. And then the next day at night, Jordan wasn't waking up. And I remember his dad woke me up because I had just had a baby, so I was extremely exhausted. His dad noticed that he hadn't woken up all night. And for a newborn, that's not really normal. You know, newborns wake up every like 2 hours. And by this point, it was like 3 in the morning, and he woke me up. And by the time he woke me up, Jordan was already undressed. Like, he had Jordan on the bed undressed. I think he was going to change Jordan's diaper. First of all, the diaper was dry. Jordan was struggling to breathe. Like, you could just see his little ribs from how hard he was trying to breathe. And we were like, what? Oh, actually, okay, hold on. I get this story confused because obviously this was 11 years ago. He was acting weird. We took him to the emergency room Intermountain, and they sent us to primary children's. This was just the next day. And then turns out he had jaundice. And jaundice is when their skin turns yellow. I don't know what causes it, but they put them under a UV light, and then after some time they get to go home. So we were at the hospital for like pretty much the whole day. They sent Jordan home and said, if anything happens, bring him back. So then that night is what happened, what I just explained. So we knew, okay, something is clearly wrong. Let's take him to primary children's. And the whole way to primary children's, like, I could just tell he is struggling to breathe. And I sat in the back with him. And as soon as we get to the hospital, we obviously told the intake what was happening. And they were like, hey, we need to get an IV on him. And so they put an IV on him. And the minute they did that, Jordan just flatlined. He stopped breathing. And I started freaking out. And then the nurse called in a bunch of other nurses, and like a whole bunch of people were there. And then they pulled me and his dad aside, and they were like, you guys need to move out of the way. We like it was just like fast, quick. And I was like, what the hell is happening? And so they took Jordan, and then they called code blue or whatever. I don't know if it was, I'm pretty sure it was code blue. They said code blue in the intercom. And then Like, I kid you not, every single freaking nurse that worked in that hospital was in that room. And then the family advocate or whatever of the hospital tried talking to us, and we straight up told her, we're like, we don't want to talk to you. We just want to know what's wrong with our son. She's like, yeah, well, we don't know. And I'm like, clearly we know that. At some point, it was just so much, and at this point it's starting to become a blur to me because it was so long ago, but at some point Jordan was not breathing again because he kept like flatlining, and then he would come back. They would do like CPR on him, and at one point he wasn't breathing at all, and they had to shock him to come back to breathe again. They did the little and that would bring him back. And obviously at that point they knew something was wrong, so they transferred him from the emergency room to the NICU because he was such a baby. And if you don't know what the NICU is, it's Instacare. It's intense unit or something like that, but for babies. So they had transferred him there, and for days Jordan wasn't moving. He was on life support. He had an oxygen. Like every time they tried to take the oxygen off, he would flatline. Like he was breathing. And then
you never told me this part of the story.
Yeah, I tell you this part.
You didn't say life support though. You just said I was struggling.
No, I told you were on life support.
I didn't. Oh, I did not know.
Anyway, so Jordan was on life support, and it was like weeks, and they were doing testing on him. He wouldn't open his eyes. I couldn't breastfeed. I would just have to pump, and then they would give him my milk through a tube that would go in his nose, down into his stomach. And so he weighed 7.1 pounds when he was born. I think Jordan got down to like 4 pounds, which is extremely tiny. But he wasn't eating. I mean, just what they were putting in him, but it's not really eating. It was just getting the nutrients in his body mainly. So after they tried doing a spinal tap, which basically is they take fluid out of your spine, and I hear those are really painful. And when they did that one, he flatlined again. Two, they weren't able to get anything because of how dehydrated he was. So they were like, for the next couple of days, we need to just like get him, like they would need to put more fluids in his nose to get him hydrated enough to be able to do the spinal tap. There was so many doctors that would come and talk to us and be like, we don't know what's wrong with your child. Like they would just be straight up honest. Like, we don't know what's wrong. We don't know what could be going on. They were like, we just need to get him hydrated to do that spinal tap in order to get more answers. And so that's all we could do was just wait. And then after finally a couple days passed, he was hydrated enough to do the spinal tap. They did that. And then within like a day, because I don't even think that same day the results came back, but after a day, they come and tell us that he had meningitis. And at this point, we had been in the hospital for like 2 to 2.5 weeks. Me and his dad would not leave his side. Everybody told us, go home, go sleep, go. And I was like, I'm not doing that. I would sleep. Me and his dad slept on the hospital floor. There was one couch. It was like the tiniest little couch in the room, and we would take turns sleeping on it. Like he would sleep on that, and then I would sleep on the floor, and then like we would just take turns because like the hospital floor is hard, as you guys know. It's freaking hard floor. And so we would just take turns. And then there was one day where I think we were able to like sleep in this little room that they had for parents, because we had put ourselves on the wait list, but that wait list was so long, and everybody just kept saying like, go home, go home. Even like my parents, his dad's parents, like all the grandparents were like, just go home. During the day, they were like, go home, we'll be here, but we just didn't want to leave it. But there was one day where we're like, you know what, I think it was like a Saturday. They said, we're going to be here, you guys go home and sleep, because we had been barely sleeping. And I was just fresh out of delivery, so it's not like I was fully myself. Like I had just given birth, and even the doctor told me like, you need to take care of yourself, you just had a baby. And I was like, I know, but my son is dying, and like I cannot leave him, because I had already had a miscarriage and lost a baby. I was terrified of losing another one. So one day we did go home, and then when we went home that same day, that he flatlined again, stopped breathing. And then my mom called me freaking out. She's like, you need to hurry up and come here. And so, yeah, we went back. And ever since that, I was like, you know what? That's it. We're not leaving him again. Because if anything was to happen, I wanted to be there, I guess. And so after we found out he had meningitis, they said it's viral. So I guess the bacterial one is the worst one. And they had started him at antibiotics the minute we got into the hospital because they were like, if anything, if it is bacterial, we'll catch it now and it'll be good, you know? So he had started antibiotics right away. But
so I had the worst one?
the worst one is the bacterial.
Oh.
You had the viral one. So at this point, they were like, there's literally nothing we can do besides keep him on life support, make sure he stays hydrated, and let his little body fight. And so, yeah, it took another 2 weeks. Slowly, he would start opening his eyes as the day went on. And like once I was able to breastfeed again, they took the tube out and I was breastfeeding. By the time Jordan got out of the hospital, it was like a month and a half. And the doctor told me what could have caused it is something as simple as a cold to us is so major to little tiny babies because they're being introduced to this new world. So it's a possibility that somebody that came around him was sick and it just turned into this huge thing. But also, we don't know really truly where it came from. So this is my warning to you mothers. If you are having a baby, tell everyone to back the fuck up. It's your child. They come first. Tell nobody to kiss your baby. And yeah. So when Luna was born, nobody met Luna until she was like 4 months old because then COVID came. I'm traumatized, guys. I'm traumatized. So how does it feel, Jordan, to know that you survived all that?
I don't know. It's crazy. Did you think I was gonna die?
At one point, I did. I'm not gonna lie.
Really?
Yeah.
You thought that was the last time you're gonna see me?
Yeah. And I would hold your little hand and I would cry to you and be like, please don't leave me. Like, I need you. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna cry thinking about it. And
I think that didn't happen to you.
no, but what? I'm not a very big religious person. And at that time, I was praying to God to not take you from me because I was that scared. And yeah. So I don't know if it was God. I don't know what it was, but I'm very glad that you are here because you are truly my best friend. And you know that.
What about Luna?
What about Luna?
Didn't she get sick too?
Luna got RS. Oh, Luna got COVID. And Luna had RSV. It's a respiratory infection. Honestly, though, I feel like that needed to happen because it made me appreciate motherhood so much more. Like, it made me appreciate you as my son, obviously, and your life. Like, after I had Jordan, I dedicated myself entirely to him. I even started working at a daycare to be with him because he was all I ever thought about and cared for.
Oh yeah, wasn't there a guy almost with the gun and almost killed?
Oh my gosh, yes, let's tell that story. Oh my gosh, dude, when I like start talking about my life, I'm like, holy shit, I can't believe that happened to me. Okay, so when I was working at the daycare, Jordan, obviously, like I said, was there. So I was in...
What was I, like 1?
You were 1, yeah. So I was in Jordan's classroom. Like, I was the teacher or whatever you want to call it for that class. So we were working the daycare, right? And so there was these back doors, like in the daycare, there was these back doors to go to the back parking lot. And every once in a while, like me and my coworkers would go outside and come in through those doors, but we didn't have a key. So we would just knock and like let the other person in, right? So one day we were just watching the kids. It was a normal day. And then we heard the knock and we were about to open, me and my coworker, Allie was her name. So me and Allie were working. We were the 2 teachers of that classroom. She had her daughter in that classroom as well, and we became like really good friends. But anyways, that's beside the point. So we were in there and we heard somebody knock and we thought it was our other coworker. So I think I got up and I was walking back to go open the door. And then the owner of the daycare comes running and she's like, don't open the door. Don't open the door. And I stood there like this and I'm like, why? What's happening? And she was like, we're on lockdown. There's somebody trying to get in. They have a gun. And I was like, oh my gosh, what? And she was like, go in the baby room, grab all of the kids and go in the baby room. So
the baby room?
Right next to it, but it had like an extra door. So like we could lock it. And then where you guys were, it was just like a little gate. So if he was to come in the building, he could just walk through that gate and he would be to us. But the baby room, it had like a door and you had to lock it.
Was only those rooms?
No, there was like all these other rooms, but like on that side, yeah, it was just those rooms. So she was like, grab all the kids and go in the baby room. So now we're grabbing like 8 children. And then on top of that, you walked into the baby room and there was another 4 babies in there. So there was a total of 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 kids. And then the other and then the other teacher. So we grab all the kids, go into the baby room, lock the door. We start pulling down like the blinds to make it look like we're not in there. But obviously, we were in there. And we were just on a lockdown at this point. And so we go in there and we're freaking terrified because we now know that this guy has a gun, but that's all we know. We had no other information. And at this point, I think I called your dad because I was scared. And I told him, I was like, something's happening. Like, we're on lockdown. Somebody has a gun. And he was like, what the hell? And I told him to come to the daycare because I was scared. Like, I didn't know what was happening. And then we had to start calling all these parents to let them know that something was going on. So we had the book, we had the phone, and all of us, each one by one, is calling the parents to let them know. And then the owner had left to go inform everybody else in the daycare not to open the doors and stuff like that. And so then she comes back eventually into our room and she told us that there was like 2 restaurants next to us, and he went into one of the restaurants and held a gun against somebody's head and he was holding them hostage. Yeah. And basically, I think he was having like a mental breakdown or something because he was like in psychosis or something. I don't know. He was like saying like, I'm going to kill myself if you guys come near me. Anyways, this took hours for them to finally negotiate with this guy and get him in handcuffs. And so because he wasn't able to come in through us, he went to the restaurant next door. So had one of us opened that door, and who the F knows what would have happened. Like,
I think you would have been hostage.
Maybe because I would have been the first one to open the door, so he probably would have grabbed me.
But I don't think you would have,
I mean, I don't know. But it was the scariest day of my life because I had my son right there, and like, not just my son, but I was looking out for other kids.
Did I know what was going on?
No, you were too little.
Wait, can I walk?
Yeah, you were walking. Yeah, and then we had a whole bunch of kids crying and fighting because the baby room is so much more smaller than the 1-year-old room, and we had too many kids there. Everyone was walking around, fighting, crying. We're freaking out, trying to call parents, and now parents are freaking out trying to come in, but they couldn't. And then the police wasn't letting anybody come in or out, so like they had blocked the road, and it was just a hot freaking mess. And then it ended up being on the news afterward. But honestly, yeah, that was one of the scariest days of my life. And then also so do you guys remember it? I don't know. I think it was in like 2016. There was in Vegas, there was a concert and then somebody shot. Do you remember that?
No.
There was like a shooting at a concert outside of like on the hotel or whatever. It was like a country thing. Anyways, the day after that happened, I got a call from Jordan. This was a different daycare, by the way. This wasn't the same daycare, but I was working as a dental assistant somewhere else, and Jordan was at a different daycare, but I got a call from his daycare saying that there was a bomb threat at your daycare.
The amount of things I've been through, and I don't even know about it.
Yeah. And they're like, it's just, we think it's just a threat. We think it's just people messing with us. We have an officer here. We don't know if it's serious and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, I don't give a fuck if this is not a real thing. Like, I literally booked it out of my work and was crying, freaking out on my way to go get Jordan because I was like, I don't play like this.
Was there evacuation like how my school is?
No, they had you guys in the building still. Yeah, but they're like, we just wanted to let parents know in case they wanted to bring their kid. They wanted to come get their kids. I'm like, you best believe I'm going to go get my kid. I don't play with that shit. Even if there is a police officer, if the bomb goes off, he's dying with them. Like, I don't care. So, yeah, that is a couple of scary instances that have happened. Jordan tells me all the time I need to write a book or have a reality show because shit that happens in my life, guys. Like, what the? Yeah.
My school. actually had a shooting and a bomb. A shooting. No, not a threat. At my school, there's like a jail right next to it.
No, it's not right next to it.
Not right next to it. It's kind of.
They relocated the jail in Utah, and it's not close to his school, but it's definitely closer than it used to be. So how long ago was this? This was like 2 years ago, no?
Technically, it was kind of like in the beginning of 5th grade. So like I was still like, we were still in 2023,
Okay.
I think. So yeah, 2 years ago. It was the morning too. We do this thing called Circle Up, and we like play a game. And then we have a greeting first, and then we play a game, and then we do work right after. We just got up, and then the speaker said lockdown. Do not let your kids out. And my teacher freaked out. She closed the doors, turned off the lights, the blinds, and everything. So, like I said, there was a jail, and a guy broke out, and he was running the direction to our school. He wasn't planning to go in. He was just
in the area.
He was in the area. Yeah, he was kind of in the neighborhood. He was like there. I don't know which side. Maybe he was in a neighborhood, but he was close to our school, so we had to go on lockdown. And we did not know this. They just said lockdown. But it's because the police called him and said, go on lockdown.
Yeah, so nobody really knew what was happening. All they knew was they had to go on lockdown.
I think the front office, since they got a call from the police, well, I don't know. They probably still were horrified, but maybe they were a little calm since the police were already kind of close.
Maybe.
But they still sounded like they were freaking out on the speakers. Because obviously, even the police was there was still a threat.
Yeah. Especially because you hear of all these school shootings and things like that, so it's scary.
Actually, it felt like an eternity because I was scared for my life, but honestly, it must have taken 5 minutes or less. If I think about it. But yeah, I was scared. I was crying. And then when they said, we were in hold after that. They said, we're not on lockdown no more, but still, do not let your kids outside.
Wait, but tell them the part where your teacher told you guys to be quiet and then you guys heard the door.
Yeah, she was just freaking out, and then I kind of saw a shadow. We didn't hear the door open. I thought someone was at the door. I don't know why she would say that.
Well, I think maybe she did hear the door. My opinion is she heard the door. It was probably like the principal going around checking and make sure the doors were closed. Or it was a police officer inside the school making sure that he didn't go in the school. That's my theory. I don't know. And the teacher obviously didn't know who it was, so she just told everyone, be quiet, they're at the door.
High school, it was crazy. After that, like I said, we were in hold. If you guys don't know what hold is, it's like, don't leave your classroom. Like, lock the door. Don't leave the classroom. And just act like everything's normal. You just can't leave. Like, if you need...
And you can't be in the hallways?
Yeah, and if you need to use the bathroom, I think you call the office to see what happened.
Just see if someone can go with you?
Yeah. But, yeah. After that, the whole day was normal.
Yeah. But thanks to that moment, Jordan had to go into therapy because it freaked him out. And he struggled with going to school after that. Everybody in Jordan's school was involved because Jordan was making up excuses to not go to school. He would lie to me about not going. He would pretend to be sick. And then I caught on to it. And I'm like, what's actually going on? And then we come to the realization that he had PTSD from that moment. The school tried helping us, school counselor, his teacher. And so they gave us like the list of every time they're going to have lockdowns. That way Jordan, like, the pretend ones, so Jordan can be prepared. Because even those ones would scare him. And we took him to therapy. He's still in therapy. I feel like it's going better. He hasn't complained about it. So yeah, but it's so unfortunate that our children have to go through this and that they fear school sometimes, because I don't ever remember being a kid and fearing school in those ways. But it's a crazy world we live in.
And then we had a bomb threat. This one I was more calm because we were outside. And if the school exploded, we were outside. We couldn't do it.
Wait, there's the after, like the...
Yeah, sure, my phone's in there. But I literally told Dejan, screw my phone, I don't want to die.
Yeah, fuck your phone. I don't care. I'd rather your phone go than you.
Yeah. So I'm like, so it said, I don't know what it said. It said, I don't know. It didn't say, bomb threat. It said something, and my teacher, she's like,
Oh, it was a gas leak.
oh yeah, they said a potential gas leak.
Yeah.
My teacher's like, oh god, it was the morning too. This always happens in the morning. The bomb threat. The teacher's like, oh, get your jackets. We might be evacuating.
Not bomb threat, gas leak.
No, but it was a bomb threat.
Oh.
But we thought it was a gas leak. She's like, don't worry, just get your jackets. We might be leaving, but it's nothing to worry about. Because obviously I was there, so she was just warning me. She was a good teacher. Like,
yeah, I loved her.
She was
my favorite. Shout out to Miss Katie.
Yeah. Yeah. She was not like The Office where she like freaked us out.
Wait, but speaking of Miss Katie, let's tell them about how when you ran for student body council.
Oh my god. Okay, can I finish this story?
Okay, yeah, finish. Sorry, I keep interrupting your story.
Yeah, honestly, this episode just might be about my school.
Yeah.
Or like how
traumatizing moments.
Yeah. But then, like, not even a minute later. Okay, evacuate. And then I'm like, what's going on? And then when we were leaving, I started to calm more. We all thought it was a gas leak. Asian's like, I can smell it. And I'm like, well, the school's gonna explode.
Your guys' kid mind, they're so funny.
When we were outside, I was more calm. It was cold though. I just had my hoodie on, and that's all. So I was really cold. And then my legs were getting sore. Like they were falling asleep, so I had to keep moving. But yeah, we were there for like 30 minutes, and then the extra like 5 minutes the walking.
So now you guys heard us yap about a lot of traumatizing things that have happened to us. But now we're going to talk about Miss Katie. So Miss Katie was Jordan's 5th grade teacher. Shout out to her. She was one of the best. Because he has had many amazing teachers, but she is one of the best teachers he has had. Miss Katie loved Jordan, and we loved Miss Katie. Jordan was running for student body representative. He had to do a whole campaign. I'm gonna see if I can post. Can I post your campaign video here? No, it doesn't make you cringe now. Okay, so we won't post his representative video, but I'll post maybe if I have the picture of the poster we made.
Oh yeah, that poster was cool.
That poster was cool. I think the poster's what got you to win.
No, they were like, oh, that's cool.
It was
the video.
The video.
Luna saved me. They're like, your sister's so cute. I'm voting for you.
Yeah.
Luna's the reason why I honestly got in.
Yeah, there was a part Luna was featured in his video. But anyways, okay, so Jordan did this, and then he ran, and then the day they gave out the votes, I was literally expecting him to win. He gets in the car, and I was like super excited. I'm like, oh my gosh, did you win? I was recording him, and he was like,
I wasn't crying.
And he was like, no. And I was like, oh, okay. And then I just stopped recording because I was like, that was a little awkward. And so then whatever, we go on with our day. We go home.
Expected me to win. Like we went to the library, and we went to my class after they announced everything. And then the kids were like, how'd you not get in?
Yeah.
Like they were mad. They were kind of mad.
So then later in that day, I get a call from his school, and I was like, what the heck? This is weird for them to call me this late on a Friday. It was like a Friday, like 4:00. I'm like, what the heck? Why is Jordan's school calling me? He's right here. The only time I get calls from his school is because he's calling me. So I thought it was really weird. So I answered, and it was the vice principal. And she was like, hey, first of all, we want to apologize to Jordan. One of the teachers brought it to our attention that we didn't count all of Jordan's votes. And turns out that Jordan actually won for student body representative. And we wanted to apologize because he didn't get like the huge announcement in front of everybody. So now, and because they had already told another kid that he won, but technically he didn't, they were just gonna make an exception and have 3 6th grade body representatives.
It was supposed to be 2.
And it was supposed to be 2. So it was supposed to be Jordan and one other kid. And so somebody got in that wasn't supposed to, but Jordan was supposed to originally get in because he had more votes than one of the other kids. You can thank his teacher, Miss Katie, because she came to us and said that she didn't believe the votes were counted correctly. And she made us recount the votes, and that's how Jordan won. We're like,
no, I did an interview before all the votes. They didn't count that. They didn't count those points, but they counted my vote.
I knew there was something wrong with the point. But anyways, the point is Miss Katie caught it. Thanks to her, Jordan's a student body representative this year. And
I was like, she said I was first place of voting.
Yeah, he was technically first place. Like, so one of the other kids shouldn't have been a representative. But whatever. The point is, he won. And then after I hung up with the vice principal, I told Jordan, and then you started crying because he was so happy. And he did say it kind of sucked that they didn't announce it in front of everybody. But it's okay because he's going to run for student representative next year, 7th grade. Oh my gosh, 7th grade. I'm going to have a 7th grader. Hell. The last story time we're going to tell is TikTok. So you guys know TikTok was supposed to get banned, right? So it got banned
for like hours.
For hours. I heard it was 8 to 10 hours. But anyway, so Saturday, you were no longer able to access it. And then Sunday morning, I have storage problems because I'm always recording. So on Sunday morning, I woke up and I was like,
when you have storage problems, you're so desperate.
Yeah, you're desperate. He can relate because he's the same way. So I woke up Sunday and I was like, you know what? I'm going to offload the app until we're able to access it again, just to save some storage space. So I did that. And then later in the day, my sister texts me and she goes, hey, I'm able to access TikTok. And I was like, are you fucking kidding me?
Because you can't download it back.
Yeah, so I no longer have access to TikTok. I get logged in once a day at least to continue our streak that we have.
Yeah.
Just to send him something, but I literally am on it in and out. So I don't really have access to TikTok. But I do still have a TikTok. So follow me on all social medias, Leslie Picasso. I have my own YouTube channel, Instagram, TikTok, and Jordan's is all over the place. So we will link everything in the bio so you guys can follow our Two of a Kind Instagram. We want to make a TikTok account. Yeah, we're going to start creating content for like Instagram and TikTok. So make sure you guys follow us and subscribe to our channel. You can catch us on Spotify, YouTube to listen to this episode. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. We will see you guys in the next episode. Bye.
Bye.